As I understand it, I think they're just throwing 6.1 under the bus and are going to go ahead and uh, come up work on version 7 now because it's a small team. There's one guy that works on the desktop. There's one guy that works on the overall distro. Because it's a small team. There's another
one
guy
that
works on the desktop. There's one guy that works on the overall distro. Because it's a small team. And there's one guy that works on the
That's
desktop.
a really small
There's one guy
team.
that works on
Well,
the overall
the
distro.
problem,
And there's
I met with
That's a really small team.
that works on
Well,
the overall
the
distro.
problem,
And there's since
I met with
That's a really
5 minutes away from the hotel that I had my concert at in May. So I met with him for about a half hour or so, and we talked a lot. And the problem is that Stefan, who is the guru that is working on Moksha, seems to keep changing it, and he can't even get the distro to work right with the new one before Stefan changes it again.
they're like jumping hoops all around.
Yeah. But they're presumably working. They've got a new version of Moksha out. They're going to be putting that in 7, I guess. But it'll probably be 6 months to a year before 7 comes out.
I used Body for some short time.
Well, I'm really happy with Bodhi 6. I have one bug that they're still chasing down. That when I'm in something with a file open that I'm trying to save, it pops up the save window behind the current window, and there's nothing I can do to move the window around to get to it. I have to minimize it, and in Bodhi, that's almost the same thing as closing it.
Oh,
So I can minimize the window, save the file, and then I can't open it up again without opening the program again. So that is a bug. I showed it to Robert, and he's going to work on it. But as far as the main workflow, that's how I want to work. The idea that I don't have to bend my wrist to move the mouse down to the corner of the screen, any corner of the screen. Even if I had hot corners, I'd still have to go to the corner.
you need one of these mice.
Well, I have one of those mice. I've got this.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, my son's got one of those.
But see, with Bodhi, you don't have to move the mouse. You just click wherever you are and the menu comes up.
Yeah, anywhere on a desktop and menu shows up.
Yeah.
Open box is like that.
Well, Bodhi is better.
Yeah, well, arguably.
Open box, you right click somewhere.
Well, yeah.
Bodhi, it's your left click, which is your main finger, man.
Oh, so it's like Mac OS. Is Mac
Could
OS
be.
like that?
I have never run Mac OS, so I don't know.
I did once. I sat down because it was the only, when I was in school, it was the only computer available. This was in 2003. I sat down at it. How hard can it be? About a minute and a half later, I got back up and waited until a regular computer opened up. I know people love them. I know people get on just fine with them, but I just can't. I can't do it.
The thing with Moksha is you either love it or you hate it.
I like Moksha. I do.
And if you hate it, try working with it for a half hour and you might change your mind.
Yeah.
Might. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it's a great little desktop, and the only thing you can get it on is Bodhi and Escuelas.
Or Arch. You can get it on Arch.
Well, you can put it on Arch, but that is not quite the same as being integrated.
Yeah.
Well, there is a Mexican educational distro called Escuelas that runs a version of Moksha.
I just like how fast it is. I mean, it's if you really need lightweight but yet modern, it's a good option.
Yeah, I've seen people that know the desktop well enough that they don't need hardly anything in the way of menus and widgets and whatnot, and they get it down to around 100 megabytes. And nothing gets down to 100 megabytes. Some of the tiling window managers use more than 100 megabytes.
Apparently not.
Even Bunsen Lab Linux is pretty cool.
Bunsen Labs?
Yeah, that's a continuation on Crunchbang. Leo
Yeah, good old
says,
Crunch Bang.
Yeah, Tony did a review of that a year or so ago. Distro hoppers.
Leo says I'm low compared to you guys. You noticing anything?
I'm
Nope.
hearing it fine. That maybe he's just listening to the stream.
Yeah, let me check the OBS
Now,
settings.
see, if we were on Video Ninja, you could fix it.
Well, my mic is a separate stream on OBS from you guys.
Well, see, if we were on Video Ninja, you could fix it.
Yeah, I wonder what the heck. Properties. Well, there is.
As I pointed out in the group, that there is a new version of Telegram, and it claims to be 100% open source now.
How about that, Leo? Is that any better? It's showing up in the yellow. Audio check, audio check.
Yeah, give Bill the check.
Yeah, because I've got it cranked up all the way on the OBS.
Leo, it's your headphones.
In the last episode of mintCast, Moss, your audio was also very quiet.
Hum. Well, I tend to keep it about 80% gain, but I know
I
that
didn't notice during the actual show, the stream, but when it came to editing, you could see it was well down.
Yeah, I've noticed when I do my Full Circle Weekly News, I have to do a lot of boosting to get it up to a good sound level. But I'm not sure what to do about that. I do have a cheap microphone. It works. I just say, if you're going to do the editing, you might take my stream and just use Amplify on it a couple times, get it up.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Huh. Let's try this.
Yeah, my last episode of Full Circle Weekly News actually had different segments that I had to boost on their own. I don't know what happened. I mean, I recorded all at one time, just read the script. But it seems strange that some news articles are up here and some are down here, and I have to basically say, okay, this one, amplify. Yeah. And even the finished product, I could hear some differences in audio volume from one segment to another. Oh, well. If they wanted somebody good, they would have got somebody. They got me.
Oh, if you left, we would have to come find you.
Well, remember, I inherited it from Leo. But part of the reason I inherited it from Leo, since he's listening, is that he wasn't putting it out weekly. It's called Full Circle Weekly News.
Front, left, front,
And we were
right.
getting, I don't know,
Damn, Bunsen
2 or 3
Labs is
weeks.
still on version 10.
Okay, what's that based on? Debian 10?
Yeah,
Ah,
the old stable.
got to 11 it, boys.
I
that's
wonder what would happen if you just went into the app sources and just changed it to Bullseye. What would happen?
Well, that's the problem with my phone OS. I pretty much had to go to Calyx or Lineage, and I could not understand the installation for Lineage, whereas Calyx pretty much automated it for me. Because Everything else is still on Android 11. And if your phone is updated to Android 12 and you put a custom OS on it that's based on Android 11, you brick your phone.
Well, one thing I did notice is my Pulse Audio settings for Cinnamon had my output the same as my input, so I fixed that. See, the problem was earlier today I was playing around with pulse effects because I was noticing that if I run Video Ninja on Chrome, Chrome was messing with the audio or the volume of the microphone. Chrome just does that. It just decides, and there's no setting for it. So there's different hacks you can put together, but I didn't like any of them, so I went to Firefox. Firefox doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Bill, I'm in Mint Mate, and I open up the sound and video, and I do not even see Pulse in here.
Well, Pulse is just the magic on the back end. What you really need is this app called PAVU Control, PAVU Control, and that's where you can go in. Yeah, PAVU Control. That's where you can go in and disable.
Sudo apt install PAVU Control.
Yep.
Did I spell out control or CTRL?
Yeah.
It's control in full.
Yeah.
But
CTRL.
Control one word.
CONTROL, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The whole word.
And password is nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
And
it's in.
And then when you open that up and go to the last tab, it says configuration, and just shut off every microphone that you're not going to use.
Pulse audio volume control. Input devices.
Go to configuration.
Go to configuration.
Yep. And then it'll have every device that's got a microphone will be listed, and turn all of them off except for the one you want to use.
Ah, full HD webcam off.
See now you ain't got to worry about it. I don't know why this doesn't come as part of the distro.
Question. CAD audio, my microphone. I have a choice of analog stereo input or digital stereo IEC 958 input.
I go with the IEC 958. That's
I've
what
been
I'm using.
But I just changed it, and I don't know if it changed anything.
Might not.
I'm at 100% on digital input here. Well, I usually use my microphone up here when I'm on the show. When I'm playing.
That's how you sound professional.
And that's how I sound
tonight on mintCast. Yeah.
Friday.
Dollar, 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 dollar.
Damn.
Oh, I'm looking at Bodhi. Let's see. I haven't updated it in months. See what happens.
Just found there's a version like called Crunchbang Plus Plus. It's based on Debian 11.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know why Crunchbang doesn't just pull their finger out and get back into the game.
Well, it's hard enough working with Bodhi where you actually have a team, but there are so many distros out there that are just one person. And unless that person is Rudra Sarasvat, I don't bother with them.
You can imagine what a person like that, when they get to be my age, or better yet.
Oh my goodness, he's probably going to own the Linux world.
I wonder about their emotional health. Somebody like that who's got a way above average understanding of the physical world.
Well, amazingly, he seems to have his feet on the ground pretty solidly, and he has the full support of his mother, so that helps.
Well, that always helps. We've got a lot of fantastic ways we can screw our children up, boy, I tell you.
But I really loved the story where he had just opened up Ubuntu core, and his mom says, okay, half hour before school, and he says, okay, and in that half hour he put together his first Ubuntu Unity. Half hour. I didn't think you can compile anything in a half hour.
If you got one of Tony's Ryzen 9s, maybe.
Could be.
What does he do with that thing?
What does Tony do with it?
with that Ryzen 9 he's got.
Laughs at other people.
Just for the laughs.
What would I do with a Ryzen 9? I mean, I'm not a gamer. I don't code. It would be a waste of money.
I'll tell you what, I've got a Ryzen 7 on this with 16 cores, and I've folded this thing up a time or two with things that you really wouldn't think would. Like one day I was running Video Ninja and OBS and Firefox at the same time, and then I stopped the recording, and then I went to play it on what do you call that? The MPV, the GNOME MPV. It's got a name.
GNOME
MPV player.
Well, it's got a name. Anyway, celluloid. Yeah. And I went to play that file, and the whole thing froze up for about 7 seconds, just long enough for me to go, uh-oh. And then it just all went black. You know those scenes on Star Trek where everything in the bridge just goes black? That's what it was. And then all of a sudden, this whole machine started restarting all over from a warm boot. I haven't seen a machine do that in years.
Yeah, I was looking. Suzanne had a short-term hardware failure on the Kudu 3. Yes, System 76 was a great company, but they still were just using pretty much stock machines from that Taiwanese maker. I can't even think right now.
Clevo?
Clevo, yeah. And so I looked at what it would take to replace that machine with something, the next step, get a Intel 105 something i7, and I found a broken one for $850, and the rest of them are $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, and that, I haven't paid more than $350 for a machine in a hell of a long time. And there is no way I could give her an upgrade, a newer machine with a newer processor, i7, without spending over $1,000 easily, almost $1,500.
Well, I go to the pawn shops to get mine, and it seems to be you can get a heck of a lot of machine for very little money in these places.
The pawn shops I've gone to, they usually don't know what they have.
That's what
and
I
what
mean.
they have are usually i3s.
Well, yeah, you get lucky though. I mean, almost everything else I've got, with the exception of the Pis and the SBCs and the server.
I spent $100 at a pawn shop for a idea pad, and it had an A6 on it. It was AMD just before they made the leap to the Ryzen, and it was pretty poor, and the build quality was pretty poor. First time I bought an idea pad instead of a ThinkPad, and I won't do that again.
Well, I guess we're not going to get Norbert.
I guess.
From him.
That is odd. But then so is Norbert. I could have finished that sentence with just about anybody's name who's currently in the room, but
We're not here because we're normal. But that's fine.
I'm
I know
not sure I
normal
even
people.
understand the term.
I understand it. I'm surrounded by them. I don't like them.
Yeah, I was notified that today is Autistic Pride Day, and I asked, is that just for LGBTQ plus autists, or is it for autism in general? I was informed it was in general, but they basically had this big rainbow tie-dye splash for the symbol. And I'm going, okay, well, I probably am a little queer anyhow, but not in that sense.
Best wedding I've ever been to in my life was a gay wedding. Can we talk about this stuff? Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's our channel.
My oldest nephew, got married up in right on the Lake Michigan and up in Michigan. Beautiful. Right on the kind of looks like the cliffs of Dover where this place is at. And they had the service right out there by the cliff, and the sun was just perfect over the what. It was an absolutely perfect day. But you talk about the energy and the positivity and the kind of people that were there, just and the free boot. Oh my God, they had money. So
And they threw a child over the cliff as a sacrifice to
Right.
sanctify the ritual.
right.
Damn, that's dark.
No, but my son did dive over the side because it was. Oh, my wife lost her shit because he dived over the side because somebody dared him. My oldest boy, and he also had a few too many cocktails in him. And he dived over the side, and then my nephew dived over out because it's like about I don't know 6-7 feet down. It's like all really soft sand, and it's at such an extreme angle. You just roll through the sand down this thing, crazy. But they ended up all the way down by the water. Oh well, I hadn't gotten rowdy like that in a long time.
If anyone hasn't noticed, I'm wearing my LQ t-shirt today.
I get those emails every day, and I hardly ever look at them anymore. I should probably get more involved in that again. All right. I'm gonna put
I keep a blog there, but it's mostly if anyone's reading my stuff, they'll hear about my podcasts and whatnot, and so we get a few more fans that way, I hope.
Oh, okay. So in the news, I'm going to put an article in here about. I don't know if I want to put it in news or in check this out because Firefox now has an official extension for translations, and it's all done client side. So there's no cloud backend whatsoever.
What's the plugin?
Let me see what's. Well,
Sounds interesting.
yeah, it's not fast and it's not perfect, but it's open source and it's all client side. There's absolutely no cloud infrastructure involved whatsoever. Let me look it up here.
Simple translate, translation comparison, too deep L translation, reverso. Nah.
So here's a story on it from ENGADGET website. And the article reads, Mozilla has created a translation plugin for Firefox. They actually created it. Firefox Translations.
Oh yeah? It's not coming up in extensions.
Right here, Firefox Translations.
Right here. Here where?
It's just
Oh,
called.
general.
Let me send you. Whoops. I'll send you a link here.
Because I typed translation in the Firefox add-ons, and the top one is to Google Translate. The second one is Simple Translate. And there's nothing from Firefox here.
I just put it in the general. I think I'll put it in the public. I put it in the Discord. But it's got a as you can imagine, it's got a sizable amount of data. It has
well,
to.
that link worked. Add to Firefox. Add Firefox translations. This extension will have permission to access your data for all websites, access browser tabs, access browser activity during navigation, learn more. Firefox translation was added to manage your add-ons and themes through the application menu.
So there's a little button there on the Omnibar.
Allow Firefox translations to send technical and interaction data to Mozilla. You've got two buttons. Report high-level user action. I'm turning that one off. And report errors. I guess I'll leave that one on.
Little blue button on the Omnibar brings up the little toolbar where you can enable translation of forms and highlight potential errors in red. And it's got, let's see, it's got Bulgarian, Czech, Estonian, German, Icelandic, Italian, Norwegian, two different types of Norwegian, Persian. Well, now what does that mean, Persian?
Farsi normally, isn't it?
Oh, interesting. That Firefox translations, what I got was a GNOME Shell Extensions website link on my toolbar. And if I go to turn that off, it says that's remove an extension, and then Firefox translations goes away.
Have you got this?
Have I got this what?
Look on the Discord on the video.
Have I got watch stream? Yes. But it adds a little foot up in the top right.
Top right of what? What are you running?
Firefox.
Well, I mean, have you got this little button right here?
Little button right.
See my mouse?
Yeah, let me look. No. I do not have that button there.
You didn't install the right thing or something.
I installed Firefox translations by Mozilla. Link you.
Works fine here.
But what I got instead of that is a little black GNOME foot up in the top bar.
Huh.
That if I hover over it, it says Open GNOME Shells Extensions website.
You installed the wrong something or other.
I am removing it, and I do not know what it did or didn't do. I have no.
It's
Plasma integration. I do not want plasma integration. Remove extension. Golly. Now then, I have what's that? That's uBlock Origin. That's Firefox account. I did not know that there for that.
You don't have this Firefox translations.
Let me close. Well, if I close Firefox, you lose me.
Yeah.
But no, you don't. What am I thinking? Okay, I have opened up Firefox again. That's start page privacy. That's HTTPS. That's Badger. That's Surfshark not connected, which I should be connected. There we go.
Just hit that link again.
Okay. Let's go here and let's go there and hit the link again and go back to my browser, and it says the option is not install but remove.
So then you've got it.
I've got it. The star ratings are not that great on it.
Well, it's new. I mean, it's not going to have a heck of a lot of
Oh.
adoption, and it doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of languages. It's
3.7 stars. 94 reviews, only 45 are 5-star, and only 16 are 4-star.
well, that's I don't know. So people are probably wanting it to be as good as the Google translation, and that's just not gonna happen without some sort of cloud back end. Let's get rid of this. So, but I don't know whether to put this in the news or in the check this out.
That's definitely for check this out.
Think so?
Yep.
Well, I should share this screen so you can see what I actually have.
Yeah. Do it.
Share your screen. Screens. I don't know what to do, but here we go, and there is my screen. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, so you have it. Okay. Up there in the title, or in the where you type in you got a lot of extensions right there. Up in the title where it's got the URL, you got a little blue button down. Title bar, or not the title bar, but where you type in.
Oh, here. Oh, okay. I thought it was up in here.
No, but see the little blue.
Yeah, I see the blue translate here.
With where you type in the website. There's
The address bar.
That here?
That is what brings that toolbar up. Because if you X that, you can X that off. Over there on the right, there's an X.
I'm on a Google sign-in page. It says this page is in Russian. I don't think so.
See, there's your languages.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can X that off. And then that blue button on the URL bar
Here.
brings it back. Yeah.
Okay. So what don't I need that's up here? That's start page. That's HTTPS everywhere. Privacy Badger. Surfshark.
Right click anywhere on there.
Cookies. This is
Bitwarden.
Bitwarden. uBlock Origin. Firefox account. What is that doing there?
That's a default one. That's so if you want to use the sync functionality of Firefox and all that.
Oh, okay. And then that's saved to Pocket, which
Yeah,
I
you
never
can
use.
Right click on any of that. Customize toolbar.
Okay.
Right click on it. And
Right
hit
click on.
Customize toolbar.
Yeah.
Right now drag the stuff you want, but you don't want to see it into that box that says overflow menu.
Oh, this here?
Yep, just drag the ones that you don't want to see down there. Put it right there.
What's that one? HTTP. I don't need to see that.
You don't need that anymore anyway because that's built into Firefox.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will remove extension. Okay. That should. Well, I don't need to see that either, but.
Really don't need to see any of them.
Well, I need to be able to log in and change Surfshark, and I need to make sure that my Bitwarden's working.
Well, you'll see in a second here. You'll still be able to do that. Now watch what happens. Now you see those two arrows pointing towards the right?
Yeah.
Hit that. Bam, there's all the ones you just hid.
Okay. Well, still, I like having okay.
You
Well,
see how
thank
you
you.
can, yeah, you can move that stuff around to your liking, which is kind of cool.
I need to get back into my show notes, I think. I don't need these open right now.
Uh-oh, we lost somebody.
It wasn't me, was it?
No,
Oh, okay.
it was, I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Respawn.
Respawn?
Respawn. I apologize.
And come on. You can do it.
You can do it.
I've never had it be this slow before. Just opening the show notes.
I don't know.
Look at that. There we go. And now, because I am old,
That's right. Blame it on your age.
well, my eyes are old.
All right. I don't think the world needs to see your
That's true.
everything that's going on your screen. uh, so yeah, I will. I'll put this in the.
Oh, yeah, I'm almost out of coffee already.
I think I've had enough for one day. We got up early this morning and made 3 fat truckers at 7:30 this morning, so that'll go up 3 o'clock tomorrow. We're having a lot better luck recording that ahead of time and then uploading it instead of doing it live. Mostly if somebody screws something up, then we got a chance to fix it. All right, let's put that copy.
Oh, well, I'm getting science limericks in one of my groups here.
Whoops. We don't want the formatting. Paste without formatting. It's not a long article, so I'll just go ahead and copy paste the whole thing.
Now I'll go back and see what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, easy there. Copy. And then let me change this into a link. Copy.
But yeah, the fun thing about booting to a non-Google Android is the first thing that comes up is, you are not booting to our system.
Do we want that in bold, I assume? Bold. There we go. There you go. Of course, it made every paragraph a separate bullet point.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know if that matters to you or not.
That.
What happened?
I'm booting.
I can't read it. It's blurry.
Oh, okay. It then says Google for a moment and then boots Calyx, which looks like that.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool, yeah. Huh. What kind of phone is that?
It's a Pixel 3a XL.
3A XL, yeah.
Yeah, if I knew what the difference between the 3 and the 3A was, I would have bought 3s. They were only a little bit more expensive. and they've got double the RAM. So
Unfortunately, my phone is a Samsung, which means if you try to put anything else on it, they send people to your house and break your kneecaps.
well, the reason Calix used the Google Pixel phones, and it will only right now load on a Google Pixel or the Xiaomi that the Pixel is hardware based on, is that it's the only one that you can unlock and then read. And that is for them important. There is my start screen.
Yeah, see,
I'm
that's not bad.
Let me reboot this again just so I can read that message that you couldn't see. It says, your device is loading a different operating system. Visit this link on another device, g.co/abh. Then it goes to Google, and then it goes to the flashy things.
So it warns you and then does it anyway.
Yeah.
You're committing ABH on your phone.
Yeah.
You're committing ABH on your phone.
ABH?
Actual bodily harm. It's a criminal offence in the UK. And you have grievous bodily harm as well.
But I'm not doing it any harm. It still runs.
We don't have pixels locally. They're unavailable here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And things like, the Google, is it the Echo? And Eero routers.
Google is called Google Home. The Echo is Amazon.
Yeah.
And you can have all of them.
Do you get Xiaomi phones?
Yes, they're not a few. The big ones are Samsung, Huawei and Nokia in our market.
Well, in theory, you can research which model of Xiaomi the Pixel is based on, different models. Not all of them are based on Xiaomi, but some of them are. Basically, Google does not have a company making phones. They contracted out two different companies. I think they were Huawei once, and they were HTC for the Pixel 2, I think. So I don't know. Anyhow, who even has an HTC phone anymore?
I think my wife's last phone was an HTC, and she liked it, but there was just a flimsiness to it, It just didn't feel like it would last very long. I don't know.
Oh, by the way, my new Think Center that I'm using as my TV box, while I was installing the additional memory, I managed to unclip one of the clips on the Wi-Fi module, and I should have just pulled the Wi-Fi module because it's all being used Ethernet anyhow. But now when it boots, it says we can't find the Wi-Fi module. Because it has those little teeny snap wires, and it's like you'll break the wire if you actually put enough pressure on it to put the snap on.
So it's getting power, but it's not like loading up.
Right.
Yeah.
The wires, now it is where both wires are not attached, and I said, oh, well, I don't need Wi-Fi anyhow. I even detached the antenna for the halibut. See, I have the antenna right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has these little tiny snap wires, and I watched Dale work on our machines when he was here, and some of my machines had those little snap wires, and he struggled with them, and he knew what he was doing.
They'll drive you nuts. That's just
I would like to draw and quarter whoever invented those.
break them on the wheel.
They ought to just, put a magnet on or something,
Yeah, I've got a Wi-Fi card in this thing, but and it's got a wire, like, instead of a antenna, it's got like a antenna wire, like, wrapped around the inside perimeter of the tower, and I've got no use for that, so I disable it in the
And the answer is yes, HTC is still making phones, but they are not making a flagship.
Oh, so it's still like off the rack type phones.
Their best overall is the HTC U20 5G, which was a 2020 phone. Their last flagship was the HTC U12 Plus, which is 2018.
Well, that's still been a while.
And the U20 5G is $514 at Amazon. And the U12 Plus is still available at Amazon for $780. The previous flagship, the U11 2017, is $265 at Amazon. I wonder what those would cost at Swappa.
The HTC website's got the U12 Plus, the U Ultra. These don't really look flagship to me.
It says the U20 is the closest thing we've seen to a flagship in years, packing 5G support, relatively powerful specs, and a huge 5,000 milliampere hour battery.
I don't think those are available in the U.S., though. In the U.S., all we've got is the U12 Plus, the U11, the U11 Life, the U Ultra, and the UTC Bolt. And those look like budget phones because they've only got, I'm probably judging a book by its cover, but it's got one camera on the back in a world where we're used to seeing 3 or 4 cameras.
Let me see, the HTC U20, let's go to Amazon. I'm sure everyone is finding this discussion completely scintillating. Why is my computer so bloody slow at loading things right now?
Did you try turning it off and turning it back on?
Not yet, but I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it's not even loading Amazon, for sake. All right, I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to go turn it back on.
Are you coming back on here, or should we just call it a day?
I can come back if you want me to come back.
Yeah,
I can
right
come
ahead.
back.
Wow, look at that.
Looks like he's frozen.
Yeah. It's hard to tell with him, though. He could just be messing with us. Oh, I suppose we should try to come up with a topic.
Is it still hot down in Texas?
Well, I assume so. I'm actually about 900 miles away from where I'm going right now. But
You said you're going there
yeah.
Monday, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going there. Let's see. I'll load and take off at 7. I can't legally get there in one day. In the U.S., we're only allowed to drive 11 hours at a stretch, and then we have to take 10 hours off.
Do you have a tachograph in your cabs?
Well, it's
like a recording device?
Yeah, except it's just an electronic logbook, basically. It keeps track of, I have to tell it, well, it's hooked to a GPS module, so it knows when I'm actually moving, and then it'll put me into driving, and then if I stop moving, like if I stop to fuel or something like that, I put it into a non-driving state, because you get 14 hours total. Once your clock starts, you got 14 hours, and within that 14 hours, you've got 11 hours to drive with. And then there are some extensions you can get for mitigating circumstances in that, but under normal circumstances, you've got 11 hours to drive within a 14-hour period.
Yeah.
Which puts me roughly, from my house, it puts me about a half an hour into Arkansas. So I'm still roughly 3 hours away from Paris, Texas for the next day. So
Hi.
Hey, did that help?
Yeah, quite a bit.
So
The HTC U20 5G is GSM only. There's no CDMA. So you can't use it on Verizon or Sprint.
it's all LTE nowadays, though, isn't it?
Well, 5G nowadays. LTE is 4G.
I don't have 5G, and
Yeah, I don't either.
That's still a gimmick.
Well, I think so too, but if you want to get something that runs that gimmick, in my case, it's at least $365 for a Pixel 5 5G used.
Well, we should pick a topic. I suppose
Phones.
God. I'm not a huge, I mean, I don't mind talking about it. I'm not a huge fan of Linux on phones. I'm not sure. I don't know. I like the idea of things existing like Lineage and that, but shoehorning a desktop operating system on a phone, I'm not sure how crazy I am about that. Because I feel like people would just half-ass the applications and just kind of give you a minimal. Yeah. What I would see happening, and I hope I'm wrong about this. I almost certainly am, but in a world where it is possible to flash just general Linux distributions on a phone, people will start a new type of user interface design will start to emerge where things are put together in a way that works on both types of devices, and it'll make for kind of a crappy experience, I think. Are you trying to share something?
Yeah, I'm trying to show the price of Pixel 5s on Swappa.
You have the stream you're viewing currently has reduced video or audio quality. This may be due to... well, I see why you're trying to stream the whole desktop.
Ah. Well, I couldn't... okay, let's stop streaming. Let's see. Screens. Well, yeah. That's... There. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for good and fair. There should be a mint down here somewhere. Filter listings. Mint. There's 6 mints. 388, 389, 402. So that's what it'll cost me to go 5G.
Yeah, and just right now, it's just not worth it, I don't think. Unless you're like within 2 square blocks of some downtown metropolitan area. That's about the only use case in the United States right now, anyway. But then again,
well,
we've got
I know that Dale has a 5G phone, and he uses it quite a bit, and even uses it as a modem for his computer.
Yeah, I do the same thing, But that doesn't mean you're getting 5G. You're actually getting a 5G connection. He's getting a 4G connection.
Well, he's getting a lot faster connection than he had on his 4G phone, is what he's telling me. But then truckers want 5G, so they probably have a tower right there.
I beg to differ. I was.
See, I knew I could say something that would get your hackles up.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
All them truckers, they get all the good signals. Yeah.
No, we really don't. The United States is just we're just the quality of our connectivity is just shit.
Well, you can say we have a lot of people, but we also have a huge country to cover.
We have a huge country, and we just
and
rural people are just not interested in it either.
About 2/3 of the country has more rural than urban space by a wide margin.
Yeah.
Heck, Knoxville is really cool because you're in the city limits and you can be driving through a rural area. I've never seen a town. Well, where I live, I'm about 22 minutes outside of the east side of Knoxville. But until I get within 5 minutes of Knoxville, there's no signal lights or anything. It's a 4-lane highway, 55 miles an hour, not controlled, but still 4-lane, all the way until I hit a signal light and I'm in Knoxville. And you can't do that anywhere else but on the northeast side of Knoxville.
I'm usually on that 640 going around the north side, just hammering on it until I get back over to 40, and then it's like backed up for a mile and a half most of the day.
I'm right off 11W, which is, if you wanted to, you could drive your truck up 11W. I'm not sure you'd find it to be a fun drive.
Well, the next time I'm down there, I'll hit you up.
Okay.
I thought I was going to get to go to Dandridge last week, but then Dave,
that wouldn't have been too far.
Yeah, we've got a customer we go down to well, I think they're the place that makes the cans for the Bush Bean Factory.
That's not really Dandridge. That's
no, it's
Walnut
not,
Hill. Chestnut Hill, Walnut Hill. I get confused.
And I don't know why they call it Dandridge, but the mailing address for the Ball Cannery there is Dandridge. So.
Well, that's down on 441. That's a whole nother story.
But the way I go in there is I go all the way down past the split and then come back in from the east.
For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, the numbers I'm throwing out are U.S. highway numbers.
U.S. highway down there and them daggum old hills down there in Tennessee, where they got a saying, you send us a Yankee and we'll have them talking right in no time.
I've been here for how many years now?
A Yankee. Is that something like a quickie except you do it yourself?
Well, I am not a Yankee. I'm a cowboy. I'm a Westerner. Grew up in Southern California before it was urban.
I don't know what I am.
Well, as it was becoming urban, literally.
I thought I knew what I was, but then I found out when I was 45 that I was adopted at birth. And by that time, both of my folks were gone. Took it to the grave.
Well, but you know your mother now. Ask her.
But she's got limited information too, because she gave me up. She gave me up, and the stipulation behind this back alley adoption, which apparently people could get away with this stuff back in the day, was that she was going to have no contact with me whatsoever.
Well, the subject is, where did you give me up, Mom?
Okay, so I'm gonna say that a church was involved. And then you will cease to be surprised by any of this.
I pulled my back yesterday. I had to move a 40-pound box of cat litter, and it was not what I should have been doing at the time.
40 pounds, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'm weak.
No, I mean, why was it 40 pounds?
Because that's the size of a box of cat litter that is economical.
Oh, okay. You're talking like new cat litter. You're not talking like
where
the cats go.
No, I had to transport it from where we store it to where the
Oh.
cats go, and I sit it on top of the dryer for access.
The things we do for these animals.
Well, I've got probably the best cats I've ever had, and each one of them is a completely different person.
My oldest boy has 2 cats, and they just. He records them doing funny stuff all the time. They're always acting silly around each other all the time. Very territorial creatures.
Yeah, well, one cat thinks that I am his property, and I continually attempt to disabuse him of the notion, but I still like it when he sees me as his favorite cat bed, you know?
It's okay, human. You can go ahead and assume you're in charge.
But our little twerp is, well, he's not little anymore, but we basically, this cat crawled out from under our trailer with 2 of its siblings and said, "You want to pick me up?" And so we picked him up and petted him and put him back because he looked like he was only like 2 weeks old, if that. And a week later, he comes back out and says, "You want to pick me up and take me home?"
We've got a stray cat problem in this part of the city.
Yeah. The stray cat. The weird thing is, all his relatives out here, all the feral cats out here, are sickly and just barely surviving, and many of them are dying off. And we took this cat in, and he is just as fat and happy as any cat you've ever seen. He's probably 18 pounds.
Yeah, my in-laws have all taken in cats that they just appear out of nowhere. And then,
Well, we know where they appear from. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, he crawled out from under our trailer. Yeah.
yeah,
We tried to pick up siblings. One retreated back under the trailer, and the other one spit at us and took a swipe when we tried to pick her up.
oh, hey, look. Joe, where do you go? What do you know, Joe?
He knows his microphone isn't working yet.
Take something somebody else has swatched that's where they run their finger through it and they'll see how it looks like. Why did that? Don't do that. That's rude.
Well, if the camera isn't on, we can't see what's rude. So anyhow, I got 2 black cats. I was in the house where they were born, but I moved out of the house and then they got gifted back to me. The girlfriend I left, apparently the city told her that she had to get rid of a whole bunch of animals or they would come take them all. And black cats are not treated well in this town. So,
Did you butt dial us, Joe?
No, I didn't, but y'all, I'm just trying to get y'all hooked to the headset. Give me a second.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to work with my headset that one time.
and then this little kitten that demanded that we pick him up and take him in, he was a tuxedo.
Hello everyone, I'm new here. I'm Shravan.
Hello.
Hi, was that Sean?
Joe.
It was Shravan, S-R-A-V-A-N. It's an Indian name.
Oh,
Ah,
I
Please
think I've seen you, Moss, in the Linux Saloon Telegram chat. Are you there? Or the Linux user space? I forgot which one.
my coffee cup is now officially empty.
I've
I've
been
been
wanting to check out
recently-
that Linux Saloon for a while, but I'm never.
Yeah, I am in the Linux user space group, but I have not been on Linux Saloon yet. I don't know that I will.
It's every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh,
Okay.
It's a fun place, yeah.
Well, Norbert's supposed to be here, but I bet he'll be there.
well, he's at a wedding right now.
Ah, we found out where Norbert was?
Yeah, he answered me in the general. He sent me a picture of the table setting at this wedding.
Send us some food, Norbert.
I found the phone Linux thing discussion interesting. What you guys had earlier, like, why do you think like GNOME and other like desktop environments are pushing more towards mobile and neglecting the needs of desktop users? It's like everything needs to be touch gestures, everything needs to be unified interface, no system tray.
If you
The whole thing is called convergence,
well,
and everyone wants it, and nobody has it.
if you think about historically, when GNOME 3 first came out, it was roughly the same time Windows 8 came out. So I remember nobody being terribly surprised that, well, if Windows is jumping on this bandwagon, then, you know, I guess Linux should have some kind of equivalent. And, oh, there he is.
On his phone.
Unfortunately, Windows kind of learned their lesson, but GNOME
Didn't.
GNOME is GNOME. You know, you take it or leave it. It's a complete rework of the whole desktop concept. I think at the time people probably assumed that was the direction that computing was going, was towards a less peripheral type setup with keyboards and mice, and more into a touch and swipe type thing. And for content consumption, that's fine, but for content creation and system administration and development, it's just never going to be a thing.
Which is why they are striving for convergence, so they can sit on their computer and work up something that'll look good in a phone.
Yeah.
Or a tablet.
Like, to give you context, I have a touchscreen laptop. It's HP Spectre X360. I bought my laptop in 2017. I stopped using the touchscreen in 2018 when I bought an iPad. Like, I have a touchscreen laptop. I don't use the touch features at all. It's like I use it just as a normal laptop because it's much easier using an iPad as a touchscreen to write notes or whatever. I'm a university student, so I have to take notes. I use my iPad to do so. It's very hard using a touchscreen laptop doing that.
Well, and if you're anything like me, I can't stand fingerprints on my monitor.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the old days, you could actually damage your monitor by touching.
Exactly.
And we kind of grew up with that. Well, it's like I bang my keyboard because I grew up typing on a typewriter that actually you had to hit the key to make the thing strike the paper. But
yes,
anyhow,
that's what I got taught. That's what I learned how to type on too.
Joshua Hawk actually donated me a Dell computer that had a touchscreen on it, and I tried to get used to using the touchscreen. And for one thing, not all versions of Linux really work totally well on a touchscreen, and I finally gave up and passed it on to Dale.
My wife's laptop's got a touchscreen. She just never uses it because it's just, I don't know. I think kids are kind of used to the concept because the ThinkPads and Chromebooks that they're being sent home with have that functionality, and they kind of expect it. But then when they go to play games, they're trying to play their game on this screen. It's got fingerprints all over it. No, it just drives me nuts. So.
Yep. Oh, we lost Joe again, and we have him back again.
Good old Florida. Yeah. So should we come up with a topic or no? I was hoping to get another guest lined up, but he is yet to respond. He does a show called Switch to Linux.
Yeah, I know that show.
Yeah, I've been watching it too.
And he makes sure everybody knows he uses Linux Mint Cinnamon on every single one of his shows. So I thought, well,
he should be using Linux Mint Mate, but
you can tell him that when we get him on. I don't know. I'm using Cinnamon on here, and it's fine. Maybe not. One issue I'm having.
Functionally, they are very, very similar, but Cinnamon keeps adding on little gadgets and things to
Yeah.
it.
Cinnamon is what you. I mean, yeah, it all is what it is. The problem I'm having, and I'm thinking it's a driver issue. Sometimes I'll go if I've got a window over here on my third monitor, and I go to do something with a window next to it. This window will completely disappear. It's still open, but it's not like showing up on screen. So I don't know if that's a. Yep, there you are again.
Yep, there he is again.
Yeah.
Although his mic is muted.
Boss, I use Mate too, but I use Endeavor. I don't use Mint.
I love Endeavor.
I've tried to use Endeavor. It does not like a multi-boot system. It keeps making more and more entries on the grub screen every time I boot it.
Well,
so did we pick a topic?
Now, if I ran it by itself on a machine, it'd probably be fine. But
see,
in a multi-boot system, it is not.
Arch has this concept where it will create a grub entry for a safe mode for your init RAM FS.
It's only Endeavor that does this. I've run Manjaro. I have run Arco Linux. I have never had a problem with them. It's only Endeavor.
Now, I like Endeavor because it if you want to use ButterFS, it will set up ButterFS the right way with subvolumes and everything, which is one of the main reasons I use vanilla Arch is so that I can set up subvolumes before I go installing stuff. But Endeavor takes all that work out for you. But the new Arch install UI, which is minimal, but it works, seems to be really coming along well.
Well, my latest install is actually Open Mandriva rolling with LXQT.
Yikes.
And this is the first time that they've put LXQT on a desktop for Open Mandriva. And it's the first time they've actually created a full ISO of the rolling.
I don't care much for LXQT.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got Joe at Halloween now.
Have you tried LXQT with Kevin? That's really good.
I was a big fan of LXDE, and I still am. And then
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did we pick a show topic?
Not yet, no.
Oh. Do you have an idea?
No. I'm on vacation.
Well, there's a topic. Joe on vacation. That is one hell of a screen, Joe. Yeah. That's good for the Halloween edition of mintCast.
Right? That's quality right there.
Yeah.
I think I need to move my Ben Franklin bumper sticker over because when I sit up, it's blocked.
Yeah.
Have we heard from our other two?
No.
Norbert is at a wedding, and who else? Oh,
Nishant, he showed up for 5 minutes.
he was on before we started streaming, and then
No, it was on during the stream, just only for about 5 minutes.
Come on, you gotta go potty.
No, not right now.
Go on, Joe. It's time to go potty.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Topic. Somebody, anybody. And I mean anybody. And by anybody, I mean anybody besides me. I can smell the gears grinding.
What,
all
Londoner?
All the new companies that are putting out Linux laptops.
All of them?
HP and Dell.
Well,
Making
Dell
the
has
big
done
bucks.
it all along, and HP is only doing pop.
What would you expect them to do? Like 15 different Linux-based operating systems?
Well, Lenovo has 3 or 4.
Well,
Which ones?
the thing is though that if a company like HP or Dell are going to settle on an operating system, they're going to want to work directly with System 76 or Canonical or whoever to make sure every little bit and piece of that works, you know. And that's exactly what they did in this case. They got a hold of Carl from System 76, and they even did a little bit of tooling. There's a couple of tools that they made for Pop OS to manage a couple things on the new HP laptop, which, you know, that's the kind of interaction a company like HP or Dell would demand from the operating system. So, and there's only a couple of OSs out there that they could have that kind of interaction with, you know. Because you wouldn't, I don't know if you'd put, I suppose you could put Fedora on it, but is Fedora really meant to be an end user, sell it off the shelf kind of operating system when its entire purpose is trying out new software technologies and new infrastructure technologies, you know? What was you saying, Joe?
Somebody was asking if a specific razor was mine, and it's like, no.
Oh.
I'm visiting my parents.
Right on.
In
Is that
Florida.
the Razer keyboard or mouse?
That was a face razor.
Is that Wi-Fi or Bluetooth?
Pretty sure it's analog.
I suppose we could do the laptop thing, although I don't.
Well, that is weird. I'm on the Lenovo page, and they say, yes, you can buy computers with Linux preloaded at Lenovo, and they don't say which Linuxes.
That ought to tell you everything you need to know.
It's Debian.
It's almost definitely got Ubuntu on it.
No, it's Debian with no frills.
Oh, I doubt that.
Debian? That doesn't sound right.
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
I have no clue what's on it.
It's Arch.
Yep.
The minute you
No,
start
it's Linux from scratch, but it's only half done.
Got one of these days I'm going to have the kind of time required to do a Linux from scratch, and then I'm still not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to have that kind of time or that kind of inclination.
Well, if
no,
that's...
I can't find anything on the Lenovo.
We can pick something else. I was just dropping something off the top of my head.
No, if Norbert were here, he would handle this. He tends.
London, what do you want to have for a topic?
I can't think of anything at the moment.
Eris says Lenovo ships with Fedora. Okay. That's right. That one that they just came out with not long ago had Fedora on it. They came out with a whole. There was one, the same basic product had one model with Fedora and the other with Windows.
Did that dog steal somebody else's sock?
Yeah,
My
I
kids
guess
leave socks on the floor.
I stand corrected. It's an interesting choice, Fedora.
It looks like Fedora and Ubuntu.
Okay. I can't remember what.
Yep, Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. Of course, they might be doing 22.04 now, but.
Isn't there a file on Google Drive with show ideas?
Yeah, but nobody ever put anything in it.
Yeah. There's a couple of different files on the drive that are listed as future show ideas. I think one of them is 5 years old and hasn't been touched since Rob and Isaac put it there.
Let's see. Is it in the archives?
Weren't you talking about having another guest on to interview?
Yeah, he hasn't answered me yet. If he did, I'd want to give him a little bit longer than a week. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll just kind of have the conversation over the next couple days when we can have Norbert
Chime in.
Yeah, chime in on it, I suppose.
Okay.
Since we're all so good at communicating.
Oh yeah, we're great.
I wish it was a little better. I got to tell you, I don't think most of you guys have your notifications turned on or something.
What notification?
We could do one on. I've been driving, man, and getting ready to drive.
Okay.
You do that for a living. I don't. There's a difference.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I said it for you.
Yeah, let's have the conversation over the next couple days. We'll figure out something by midweek. I guess it doesn't.
On the differences in what different copyrights there are in the free and open source community. I would find that interesting. Everybody else would probably be like, "This is the most boring crap ever."
Copyrights is what? Like content? Like music?
Like the different licensing for software, for operating systems, for free as in beer, for
See,
everything.
that I would find that interesting too, because I think a lot of people don't have a marvelous understanding of the different types of GPLs and the difference between that and like an MIT and a.
And I would have to do research before,
Yeah.
I think Linux Experiment, the YouTube channel, has a really good video on it. It was, I think, in the last month.
Yeah.
If I remember about the different licenses, I found it really interesting because I'm also contributing to code. Like I develop for EndeavorOS, so we're writing new code. So I had a little bit of question. Okay, what license should I use? Because I use pass of code is GPL3, so I have to use GPL3 also.
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about that. Have to put a little bit of research into it, but that's fine.
No, we could do a series. We start with just the different levels of GPL.
And then like examples of different software projects that use these different types of licenses. Projects that are pretty ubiquitous.
There are two more licenses which are common. One is Apache and other is MIT.
Yeah.
That is also really common.
And then how the licensing relates to open source and closed source.
Right.
Or if it does.
And then a couple of interesting side topics like how does these licenses, how do they fall short sometimes in a cloud-based world, and some difficulties companies and projects have had with, like, the story about MongoDB a couple years ago with Amazon. They relicensed their database, and then Amazon just forked it. And now Mongo is not getting any support whatsoever.
All right, so we have a baseline for a topic. I wouldn't say that we have a set in stone topic here, but we definitely have a starting point.
Yeah. All right, then.
Let's start with GPL and the different levels of GPL and different companies or different pieces of software that use each different tier of GPL.
Sounds interesting, I guess.
What's a GUPL?
What's a GUPL? And what's a GUPL 2? What's the difference between a GUPL 2 and a GUPL 3? So, I got to get off of here, guys. So
Don't steal my van keys, dog.
All right. Well, I'm hanging up then.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna get going. Hang out with the family.
yeah, me too. You
Talk to y'all later.
guys, see ya.
Okay.
Well,
Bye.
I'm gonna end the stream. So, for those of you that have joined us,
Thank you.
we appreciate it. We appreciate those that have joined in with us too. I want to. Oh, okay. I want to make sure that everybody knows that anybody is welcome to join us on here. So, with that all being said, everybody have a good rest of your weekend.